Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another art conversation with Farrin. I hope you are staying safe and healthy in comfort of your home and watching this beautiful and inspiring conversation with another artist. I'm pleased to introduce our today artist, Wendelin Ray. Wendelin, welcome to our conversation.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Farrin. Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Farrin. How's
So,
everything?
yeah, welcome to our conversation. We are so pleased to have you in our show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure is ours. Okay, Wendelin, would you please start by telling us who you are and what you're doing, what type of art you're doing?
Yes. Well, I started my artistic career fairly early because I grew up in a suburban town just outside of Philadelphia, and in a family full of artists. And art, I would say art is completely in my blood. Totally everyone in my family seems to have the talent in one way or another, either writing or whatever. And so I was influenced very early on and started to pursue art in high school, and really got interested in ceramics primarily. So when I went to art school in college, I majored in sculpture. Wow. And that was my first love. And actually my dad is a sculptor, so I think I was influenced by him. Then once I was out of college, I started taking ceramics again, and did that for about 6 years. But I also took my first film class at Moore College of Art in Philadelphia just on the weekends, and started to really take to that. Black and white film kind of became my medium. And I went on a trip to Paris where I really got inspired using film photography, and I was hooked on photography after that. I really was. And so, of course, like most photographers, I transitioned, into digital. I've worked with a mentor. I've taken classes in digital as well in New York City and a community college, like wherever I could get knowledge. And photography has basically been my focus ever since. But just saying that, I also later in life picked up oil painting as well. Okay. So, it sounds like I'm all over the place, but they all kind of influence each other. Yeah. So, yeah.
Your major is today photography. So that's what you're doing as art.
My major focus has been photography. Like that is my love. That is my passion. Yeah. That's what I stick with. And in the slides, you will see primarily my photography, of course. And at the end, you might, I'm sure Farrin wants to show my paintings as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to show that side of you, because I don't think so many people actually saw your paintings. So I definitely.
And the paintings tend to be sort of an afterthought, more of a hobby. But it is nice to get some recognition for them, for sure.
Yeah, no, and to be honest, I was surprised when you said, "Oh, I'm doing some painting in the site." I wasn't expecting to see those. So, but we're gonna get to that in a second, and we see why I was surprised. With seeing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what's the subject, or what are the subject of your work? You have a huge list here. So what's the major subject of your work, and how you choose your subject?
Well, because I'm an East Coaster, I tend to go to New York City a lot. I have a lot of family and friends there, and NAWA gave me an excuse to go there a lot as well. And a lot of these photos that you see are from either New York City or, at least the urban photos are from New York City or Philadelphia. Okay. Two places that I'm very familiar with. And I do take I have in the past, and I still do take a lot of urban architectural photos. I I guess in the beginning, I was taking a lot of architecture without people in them because I felt more comfortable doing that. And I think a lot of photographers start out that way. As you can see in the
Sorry. May I know why?
why no people?
Yes, why no people, right?
I think some people like me. I mean, look, I've gotten this person's legs. That's a start, right?
Yeah.
But it can be intimidating. That street photography can be an intimidating thing in the beginning, because you're afraid to approach people.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And you're afraid of what their reaction will be if you are taking a candid photo of them and they notice you. It can be a little intimidating. But I'm trying to get past that now. I'm trying to move beyond that.
Yeah.
And
what inspire you when you want to? I'm sorry. When you want to choose, or when you want to go out for photography, is it some inspiration? Is it like you have something in your mind? You said, "Okay, I saw this movie, or I saw this, or I saw this dream, or some book you read, and then you decide to go out and seek for that subject." What inspire you to go for photography, or what subject to go actually?
Well, I mean, she may be included in maybe one of my quirky, I call them quirky people series.
Yeah.
People doing she looks a little eccentric, doesn't she? I mean, this is like in a New York cafe. And
honest, when I see this particular, I thought is a painting. Yeah,
I do. I guess because I paint, I also see things composed that way. The balance of the whole photo is very, very much like a painting, how I might do a painting. But the subject matter herself, interested me just because, she stands out. She stands out, and it's a nice moment. And the light and shadow on her is beautiful. And it was an indoor photograph, but I still saw the light and shadow, and the composition is, balanced just so,
So I should say your inspiration is that you see something and then you decide to take picture, right? It's not that something you plan ahead of time.
Well, I mean, now I have been all summer, I've been for people, as well as I have done a whole light and shadow series. And yes, I go out in the midday and I'm seeking light and shadow. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for, and people are like, but you go in the midday and that's the worst light. I'm like, but I'm looking for very high contrast photographs. And that's what towards the end of the day, there's some nice light and shadow too, in the beginning too, but I'm looking for these very contrasty photographs. And I see them sort of like the contrasty photos I see in post-production now, working on them too.
So I'm sure there is a process, because I'm a photographer, so I don't know much. So for each series you do, there are different process you have to
right. Yes, exactly. And this is an earlier photograph of my cat Gandhi. And yes, of course, I saw Gandhi in light and shadow, and I didn't seek this out. This was like a very spontaneous photograph, and it was set up just beautifully. So sometimes that's how photography happens. You're there at the right time in the right place.
Exactly. Right. So you have more of animal services in your website, which if anyone interested in animal, she can see some more of your work here.
Yes, and this is at a local stable. This is this is a horse at a local stable where I live.
Yeah, and then to take some picture like this, I'm sure you took a lot of picture, and then you select which one is the best.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly, Farrin. Yes, you take as many as you can. So and that's the advantage of digital photography, is that it's not like film photography where a lot of it you have to discard.
Okay.
So, this is my cat Haji, yawning. I'm very inspired by my two Bengal cats. These are the Bengal brothers.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. You see, they inspire. This is my sister's cat. I'm inspired by my family's animals, and friends' animals as well.
Okay. So that's why you have different series. You have people and, you have animal.
Animals, yeah,
Animals,
I guess
yes.
I do a little of everything, especially on my website.
Yes. And nature also, it's huge subject.
Nature definitely factors in. Yeah.
For something like this, how you take picture of something like, is it different, for example, taking picture of something like that, nature from animal or from people? Do you use different camera or you use different lens, or what you use?
Absolutely not. It's the same camera. It's the same 35 millimeter camera that I'm using. It's a digital camera with an SD card in it. And the process is relatively the same. Of course, I'm seeking reflections here. And of course, the settings have to be, accurate for the low light situation and trying to bring out the reflections in the puddles. But it's pretty much the same process as any photo. I edit in Lightroom and I convert them to black and white in Lightroom. That's a good thing to point out, not in the camera.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, no, my question was, are you using like extra light sometimes, if you want to take picture, like, for example, I saw some photographer, there are some, lighting around to take
Well,
pictures.
not for this. This was in Central Park, and I was just using whatever, it was during the day. So I was trying to, anyone knows about settings in camera, a wider aperture is gonna, give more light, and so.
Mm-mm. And of course, like it's sunny day, rainy day, all this thing have different setting. Sorry, I'm asking this question because I know nothing. The only thing I know of taking picture, how to take picture with my phone, right? Tick, tick, tick. That's easy. That's the technology of us as not photographer, we know.
I mean, for digital photography, you have to think shutter speed, aperture, ISO. Obviously, the higher the ISO, the more light.
Yeah.
The wider the aperture, the more light. The lower the shutter speed, more light. Like you have to think about all of those things together, and that's what, to me, that makes it interesting. The technical part makes it interesting as well. So
it's challenging as well, right? It's
challenging as well.
Yes, yeah. So to do people, because let me just this is your urban series anyway, by the way, and
this,
you have to do you need to get permission from them, because I know you have beautiful picture in your website of this people series, right? You reach out to them and you ask them, can I take your picture? Or they reach out to you, they ask you to come and take their picture. How that works?
Well, this top one, Beautiful Balmar, is what it's called. Actually, I was in Bermuda, and she worked at the resort I was staying at. So she was a willing subject. It was perfect. She's beautiful. She's a willing subject. I took lots of pictures of her. I saw her several times. And then, as a favor, I sent her some of them, and asked her if I could use them, in my website. So it was like a nice trade-off, and I've showed her in shows as well. So, sometimes it's a trade-off, and it's wonderful when it becomes a mutual thing.
Yes.
And all of these people, of course, the portraits, I've gotten permission from them, and often I send them at least one picture.
Okay.
A few pictures as a thank you.
Yeah.
So.
These are really beautiful, and of course there are some probably they approaching to you and they ask or commissioned and thing, and they ask you to photography, they need you to take picture. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So also you have different beach probably series, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you do? I'm sure, as you said, there are different setting for different environment for different subject, right?
Yeah.
And then what inspiring you to do beach? Is that something it's your hobby of you, like beach and going to beach? And
I want to give you a deeper answer, but usually I tend to go on vacations at beach spots.
okay.
I travel the beaches a lot.
Yes.
Relax. So it becomes like like every trip pretty much is a working trip for me because I'm always with my camera.
Yes.
So, so like, the one on the right is Miami and the one on the left is New Jersey, but they might as well be very, the same type of place, So, yeah, and this.
So, I mean, and I say, like, in your beach series, the same thing as you said. Some of them they are with people. Some of them, like, you show them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from the quirky people series. Sort of a moment going on where she's sort of very introspective, and she's not posing for me. This is really what's going on.
Okay.
And it's caught her sort of in a moment, and you can see the man on the left hand side facing her. Something else is going on with him, and they're sort of doing the same thing, but they're sort of in their own worlds. And I sometimes look for these connections in my photographs.
So are these some people did you, like, they did this for you, or
No.
just something? Okay.
No, these were just from a distance I took this.
Yeah.
I saw it going on. They didn't even know I was there.
Okay.
So yeah. So I just and then first I saw I saw her first, and I'm thinking, like, what's going on with her? She looks like she's in thought. And then I saw him, and I'm like, well, he's in thought too, but they are not even connected, But
that very interesting, how to make the connection.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's what's going on in the world. People are all in thought, and they're in their own world. And, so I felt like, even though they're in their own.
So what is going on, just looking at people's faces. So
Right.
That's the beauty of human being.
Exactly.
So that's why you said every human has two faces, right? What you see is not exactly how they feel. So
Right. Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And or
another quirky person. Sorry, Farrin.
And this is also, we just saw it in your website from your people series, but you have some, as I said,
the Light and Shadow series.
Okay. So these are just you have a series of light and light and shadow.
Yes.
Why you take of this? Why light and shade, like shadow, interested you?
Well, in these photos, I guess it made it, and from your painting background, it's made. I've taken abstractions almost of these scenes, and the light and shadow adds to those abstractions. The lights and the darks bring out the colors. You can see the one on the right is really all one color, but it looks like it's two shades of green. But because of the light and shadow, it's actually like it becomes two colors, two shades of color.
So you see this because you work as artists, as you said, art is in your blood because your whole family are artists, right? I mean, a question I forget to ask at the beginning: are you still doing ceramic, or
no, completely out of my repertoire?
Oh goodness, yeah,
completely out of my repertoire. Did ceramics for 6 years as an adult. Did sculpture when I was in high school and college. Completely gone out of my repertoire.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I still.
So when you start this and you like, more photography over ceramic or sculpture, so you continue. Right?
I think you finally find what you want to focus on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I wanted. It's something I felt like I could keep developing at.
Yeah, I think many artists, they do this, they start trying different things until they find what they want.
Yeah.
And then they go for that. So I know at least many artists, they try many things at the beginning, and then finally they find, okay, this is who I am, and this is what I want.
Exactly. And I think I was influenced by my dad, who is a sculptor. And obviously I got the genes to do it.
Yeah.
Early on, you're influenced by your parents. So I feel like I kind of felt like, well, maybe this isn't my area anymore, for me. Even though I can do it, I feel like I'm transitioning into another phase.
Yes.
That I feel more like more me, like you were saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I definitely understand. So
Yeah.
you know, as I said, many people like try different things until they find, you know, who they are, what's their signature, and what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the same thing as you, although you do painting still,
I
you
still
know.
painting. Yeah, and my mom paints as well, so I was influenced by her.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so these are all local light and shadow pictures.
Yes. And
Self-portrait shadows.
yeah.
Yeah, back there. This is my self-portrait series that I was doing at the beginning of quarantine.
And what's the reason? What's the story of this? Because you see, like, you know, you kitchen, you know, and as a cook and different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was doing a lot of cooking actually during
Oh.
quarantine. I was home all the time. I wasn't going to restaurants anymore, so I kind of like was sort of making fun of that, you know.
Oh. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then the other ones really were just sort of like fun personas that I was taking on for the day, you know, and
So kind of you said how fun the life can be during this, like, you know, pandemic,
yeah,
right?
you
And
know,
then,
it gave me a focus. It gave me something to do every day, you know, that was fun and experimental. And I had a lot of people, I was showing them on Instagram and Facebook, and a lot of people said that it brought a lot of joy to them during a time, you know, during a time of that was kind of uncertain, you
yeah,
know.
exactly.
So
Definitely.
that was good feedback. It was really nice feedback to have friends and family say that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I
Yeah.
can see it. And, you know, it's just like, you know, this, as I said many times during our conversation to other artists, and almost all of them, they said they have more opportunity to work as artists. You know, this
Yes.
give you, although there are a lot of, like, you know, we been through a lot of pressure, but also we find some more opportunity to lay back and sit back and look at ourselves and seek some more opportunity for ourselves, right? And
I
do
agree.
and create more artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure of you and many other artists the same. They found, like, you know, more time, you know,
You
to
found that yourself, right?
exactly.
Well,
Yeah, same thing as me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So this particular this few artwork here I saw, when I saw them, I wasn't sure, all this, like, you know,
yeah.
photo, all this painting.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot of comments. I like your paintings, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, this is an interesting thing is that they do look like paintings. So, but they are actual digital photographs. And the whole concept was I was during quarantine again, was going outside, and every day I would take pictures, a different angle of various tennis courts around where I lived. And then I would bring them home, and depending on the light and shadow, the editing would bring out um, different colors in the tennis court. And of course the angles don't make it look like a tennis court anymore. So I kind of like abstracted the tennis court, digitally manipulated it, and kind of got away from like traditional photography and what the subject actually is. So,
I'm just trying to figure out, like, which
yeah,
kind of tennis court and
yeah.
where it is, but I can't really
Kind of
understand.
like it's not recognized anymore, and it's called Tennis Anyone question mark for a reason, because tennis anyone, it isn't tennis
Yeah.
court anymore, you know. I mean, it kind of isn't.
Yeah.
But this was something totally new for me, totally new for me, and it was very experimental part of my summer. And I think I'll continue to pursue it, maybe with other you know, signs on sign you know signage on the ground. I have done some crosswalks and a basketball court too. So this could be like an entire series separately.
Yeah. So to doing this, I'm sure the process quite different from other picture you took, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
would you explain in a simple way, because, like, you know,
Well, I mean, again,
include me, not so many people know about, like, you know, all those terms. how
Right.
you do this, how you took picture for this.
Well, I mean, I take the photo, like these are actual photos of the tennis court.
Okay.
And, you know, like you'll see them, the green and the white, and you might say, okay, that's a tennis court if you just saw the picture, the original picture. So then I import them into Lightroom, which is my editing lab on my computer. And through digital manipulation, I'm able to bring out, like through temperature control and, you know, saturation and all kinds of things, highlights. I'm able, depending on the light on the tennis court, I am able to bring out various colors um, in the editing process.
Okay. Is there what type of software you use for this? I mean,
It's called it's Adobe Lightroom.
okay.
It's called. Yeah. And it's the same software I use for everything. I'm just doing something different, something more extreme to it. Taking things, if it makes sense, taking the adjustments that I use for all photographs to extremes.
Okay.
So I get these very opaque, dramatic colors. And
how long it takes to do the whole process? You know, from taking picture, of course, is different
right.
to do the editing.
I would say the editing takes maybe hours, a couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of spend about a couple hours on each photo.
Yes. Okay. So and then there is no size involved, right? Because these are digital and
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So therefore, if you want to print it, you can print it any size.
Yes.
You
And
like.
I don't know what the quality of the pictures are going to be yet. Because I haven't
So you haven't printed any of those.
printed any of them. That's the next thing. That's the next phase. I'm going to start printing them.
Okay.
And I don't know how big I want to go with them because I don't want to mess up the colors or anything.
So you can experiment, right? You know,
Yes,
different size
exactly.
and see which size would be better for this particular, like, you know, abstract.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes. So okay. So beside this, yeah. So as I said, I want to show your other side,
Yeah.
painting. So okay, tell us a little bit about your painting. We don't have much time, so but
Yeah.
I would like to know about your painting.
I know I'm a little shy about them because
They are beautiful. As I said, I couldn't really expect, you know, this type of painting. When you said, "Oh, I do some painting aside," I said, "Okay, let me see." And then
Well,
when you said this, I was really shocked.
well, the 3 out of the 4 that you'll see are like she's an actress, Elizabeth Debicki. I don't know if you know her, but of course I painted from a photograph.
Okay.
Because if you paint celebrities, you're not going to have them in front of you.
Yeah, of course not. You know.
Find a really good photograph and paint from that. And I kind of make it my own too. I tweak the colors. I kind of, you know, add my own flair to it, I think. And these are oil paintings, which I prefer oils just because of the richness and you can, there's a lot of, they stay wet for a long time, so you can manipulate them a long time.
Yes.
This is Salma Hayek. I tend to choose photographs that are maybe more challenging.
Okay.
For some reason, it seems like I get more out of it if it's more challenging. This is Beret Girl. She's not a celebrity, but that picture actually took me the shortest amount of time, and I'm kind of like happy with the outcome.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I mean, as a photographer, so probably you know, this is something you every day you do, taking picture of people and portrait. So now to paint them also, it's all another stories, you know. And
Yeah,
I know many photographers said, "Oh, I'm not good in drawing. I'm not good in painting," you know.
yeah.
But to be good in everything, both of them, it's something else, and it makes you really. I'm sure it influenced your photography as well as your photography influenced your painting and drawing.
Yeah,
Right?
it does work. It does tend to work both ways, especially with light and shadow. It really helps. It really helps, and composition.
Yeah.
But these are just a couple of my drawings too. An ink drawing and a pencil drawing. I do some of that too.
Very, very nice.
Thank you.
You have to definitely make sure to put this thing out.
Thank you, Farrin. And I'm trying to do more in my paintings and in my photographs. I'm trying to do more ethnicities. You know, it's I kind of like that too, different skin colors.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm focusing on now too.
Yeah. So do you have any last word for our guest today? Our time almost over, and
Okay.
we have to end our conversation.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a great time for women artists now, I think. Much better time than for our mothers or our grandmothers. It's encouraging to see more women highlighted in museums and galleries, and to have organizations wonderful organizations like NAWA to be a part of that really focus on women's art. And I feel very grateful that I'm living during this time as an artist, as a female artist, and that I'm
Being part of NAWA. So we are so pleased,
yes.
Wendelin, to have you in this show.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your time and your beautiful work. This is email and Instagram of Wendelin. If anyone want to reach out to her and see also her beautiful website and beautiful work. And thank you everyone for joining us for this beautiful conversation and seeing Wendelin artwork. Thank you, Wendelin, and thank you everyone.
Thank you, Farrin.
Thank you. So see you next in 2 weeks, another Friday with different and one of our other talented artists. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.